Good evening, everybody. This is WA7PBE, your host of the Operator of the Week podcast. I am pretty excited about tonight's episode. Just a couple quick things. Just adjusting my mic, my camera, real quick too. If you haven't already, there's a Patreon, Buy Me a Coffee in the link below. You can support me in the podcast that way if you enjoy it. If not, it's free. Enjoy it anyways. Couple other things. As I was telling Ham Radio Adventure Guy, I will be in the Charleston Ham Fest they're having there next week. And the week after is the one up here in Northern Virginia. So if anyone's going to those, I will see you there. So tonight I am excited about my two guests. They're both on YouTube, and they both happen to be YLs. So let me go ahead and introduce my guests. We have Ria N2RJ and Dixie W4DXY. How are you doing tonight?
Good. How are you?
Doing great.
I'm doing decent. So the first question I always ask my guests is, how'd you get in ham radio? So I think because you have a shorter story, we'll go with you, Kat, because you're relatively new.
Funny.
I mean, I thought Ria would have a shorter story than mine.
No.
Really?
No, I don't think so.
I never have a short story. Listen, I left short stories behind in high school, okay? I don't write short stories anymore.
Seriously, Ria? Okay.
I'm kidding.
Well, everyone knows my dad had his ham radio license, and that he was a prepper along with his best friend, and they both went and got their licenses together. So that is how I got into it.
How long was he licensed? Just out of curiosity.
2015, 4 years.
Okay. So then you wanted to follow it after. What appealed to you? Like, what did he do that appealed to you?
Well, it's just the fact that I was a daddy's girl, and that's pretty much it. So going through all his stuff after he passed was part of it. So we had some ham radio equipment, and everybody in the house was like, who's going to get this and who's going to get that? And so I gave it to my brother-in-law, and then I was like, well, who's going to end up with my dad's call sign? Because I didn't do that. So that is still out there.
Okay. What about you, Ria?
Well, I'm kind of surprised because my story is probably shorter.
Shorter than mine.
Yeah, but anyway, so I'm a big proponent of schools, of ham radio in schools, for a good reason, because I got involved by a teacher in school who was a ham, who tried to encourage students into ham radio, and that's one of the reasons I got into it. But I never really was how should I put it? I never really got into ham radio to just talk on the radio, because to me that kind of is like not really the objective of ham radio for me, right? I like to, one of my favorite pieces of ham radio equipment is the soldering iron. I love to experiment, and I love to do stuff, and this was kind of what the teacher liked to do. Today I was at a school giving a talk about ham radio, and they were kind of just, that's a lot of what we were talking about. So that's my story. I came to the States in 2001. I got licensed in 97, so this is year number 25 for me. I came to the States in 2001. I met up with a good few hams. I met up with Steve Mendelson, W2ML, and Steve Mendelson was a big mentor of mine here. And, he got me into DXing and all that kind of stuff. And, I mean, as far as prepping and emergency preparedness, I kind of knew all that. We learned to make do it less in my old country in Trinidad and Tobago. So it's kind of
Yeah.
like, you kind of learn for that. So anyway.
Yeah, because I actually watched your last stream you did, I guess you'd say, where you talk about the solar panels and all that. That was pretty interesting. Because I
Yeah.
want to start doing stuff like that myself. So, what's different about ham radio in Trinidad compared to here, if there is any differences?
Very good question. So the biggest thing I would say is that ham radio in Trinidad operates on a very much smaller scale. Okay, it's not like here in the United States where you have. So as you know, I'm a director of the ARRL too, and ARRL operates like a corporation in a lot of respects. Well, in Trinidad, the Ham Radio Society there operates like a club, just like a radio club. And there's a lot of more like close knit events, like rather than you have regional clubs and such like that, you have just like a whole big ham community. They get together, they do events and all sorts of stuff, and and the events is not even, and this is the other big thing, a lot of times it's not about operating. A lot of people get together just to get together to show their
To hang
equipment.
out. Yeah.
Yeah, it's like a car show, right? You go to a car show, the cars are not driving around. They just have the hood open and you're watching the engine, Yeah,
I've actually
so that's,
noticed that. Yeah, I've noticed that in like Central and South America because I follow a bunch of people on TikTok, and it's like what I see a lot of them doing is like they'll just get together with a bunch of radios and just like kind of show off to each other. It's pretty funny. It's actually kind of cool.
Yeah, so anyway, those are two different. And the other big difference is a lot of the activity is on 2 meter repeaters. There's HF, but among the locals, HF communication is not really such a big thing. We have HF communication up and down the Caribbean, and to foreign countries, DXing, but locals is on 2 meters. I will tell you that MCOM, emergency preparedness, is a big thing because hurricane season flattens the Caribbean. So
yeah. So I guess that was kind of, I guess your inspiration into emergency preparedness and prepping is coming from that experience, right? Yeah,
right.
that makes a ton of sense. And then, what inspired you to get into like the teaching side?
Since I got my ham license, I actually immediately started teaching classes because I know I had to pay it forward. Because I was so inspired by my teacher, and I actually got 2 people to pass the exam, which was, by the way, no small feat because our only exam at that time was as hard as the American extra class exam.
Wow.
Okay, so yeah, and I taught a licensing class, and I enjoy sharing the knowledge. I enjoy teaching people to do things. And of late, like, within the last 4 or 5 years, I actually got, I got asked by people. So I went online and, we got a flex radio, and I was like interested in discovering knowledge myself. But then I began to share that knowledge with other people. And then people began asking me to do talks, and I did talks. I actually presented at Dayton a couple times. I presented a lot of different clubs, and it kind of snowballed.
So, like, I kind of want to backtrack a little bit. So, do a lot of people, especially like in the Caribbean, do they use ham radio more as a service and a tool than a hobby? Or is it kind of the other way around?
I think it's 50-50.
Because, like, here in the States, it's mostly the hobby.
Right. I think there it's mostly a hobby, but we used to have a daily emergency net, just to check the equipment. So.
Okay. I was just kind of interested.
Yeah. I don't know. Cat, I think even regionally in the United States is different. I know down in Florida it's different to here, and then Cat in Alabama might be different too.
Yeah.
Yeah, like I know like Skywarn and stuff is a lot bigger down there. Like up here, nothing really happens. Like I guess they do a little bit of like MCOM in my area because the terrorist threat and all that. But yeah, it's not too much here. So it's just interesting to hear like different places what they do with amateur radio.
Mm-hmm.
So I guess we'll like bump over the cat so she can get a chance to talk. So what are you doing now, like as far as amateur radio? Like what are you getting into?
I'm getting into figuring out how to use a QRP radio sitting in my house with the chameleon sitting outside, and figuring how far I can actually get and people can hear me, because it's very few and far between with it. I can tell you that. It's a lot harder. I tend to hear more people than they hear me type situation. So I generally just get on and listen to mostly 80 meters sometimes.
Yeah, I have that problem sometimes too. Especially like, well, I do have a 100-watt amplifier, but I mostly do parks on the air. So I'm mostly when you're running like 20 watts. But so yeah, are you like hunting POTA, or are you just talking to people in general?
I hunt POTA on the weekends when I do get on. I tend to hunt POTA, especially on early in the morning is the best option for that. In the afternoon, once it gets like evening time when the parks are supposed to shut down, that's what causes a problem. So
yeah, hunting with QRP is tough. That's really hard because you have to try to power through those pileups where people are running like kilowatts of power. So
yeah, I've gotten through on some of them.
Yeah, well, it's because your voice adds 6 dB. So
I don't know if my voice necessarily adds 6 dB. But yes, I have tried different things. I've even done a high pitched voice before to try to break through, which kind of helps. So,
have you considered like maybe learning CW or doing like data modes like FT8, that kind of stuff?
I tried doing data with the QRP radio. I've not quite gotten it tweaked yet to do it. I've just been trying to figure that part out, and unfortunately, I got frustrated and I just stopped for a while, because if I don't, I'll spend all day and night and trying to fix it. I can't fix it. Then I get frustrated and I can't sleep, and then I'm up. So no, I have learned to put things down and walk away, but then try to sit there and make it work for myself and to get it fixed. So
Yeah, I could feel the frustration because I've definitely gotten frustrated. Like I try to do data in the field, and for whatever reason, it doesn't always work out. It's kind of funny, kind of tragic. But what about you, Ria? What have you been working on as far as radio goes?
So, there have been a few things. I mean, I'm catching the tail end of the 160 meter season. I'm trying to, because I do a lot of DXing, right?
Yeah.
What else I've been doing? I've been trying to get, I've been getting on FT8. I've been doing a little bit of DMR. I've been doing some, lately I've been, of course making videos, but also, like, mostly looking for new band slots, new countries. And also, I've been trying to listen to the military communications out of Russia and Ukraine. And
do you understand a little Russian?
Oh, I speak Russian.
Oh, do you? Okay. I only understand a little bit. Like I can order a beer. That's basically it.
Yeah. No, I learned it. I had to learn it. But anyway, it was but no, it's but even if you do learn, I mean, a lot of them are like numbers stations and such like that.
Yeah.
Like, and then
it's nonsensical.
Right. So, but this is the other part of the story you didn't know. I started off as a shortwave listener. And
same here.
Yeah. And because of that, I listen to a lot of utility stations and such like that. So it's very nice to listen to those type of communications.
Yeah, I still have like once in a while if I get bored like talking to people, I'll just flip the dial and listen to something.
Hmm.
Kat says she dated a Russian. I don't know. Did he teach you any?
Heck no. I mean, no, no,
No.
I dated her.
Yeah, that must have been fun, huh? But
Yeah, vodka all day, every day.
yeah, right. Just destroy your liver.
Yeah.
So, Ria, do you feel like the hobby is growing in the interest of YLs, especially
So
because
that's a
you're kind
real.
of at the higher level?
That's kind of interesting question because I think I think in many respects it is. I think it's not really as big as people think, but I think that I think the biggest thing that really drew a lot of wiles out the woodwork was national parks in the air. I knew a lot who
Mm.
went out and activated. I don't know if they're getting the same spark with parks on the air, you know? I know national parks on the air was big, but I definitely notice a movement more so now, to be among wiles to be more visible and, more I guess out there. So, yeah, kind of. Although historically, I mean, you kind of have to break it up. I noticed that those who just get a license to, I guess because their boyfriend or husband got one, kind of really, some of them are, they go full into it, and some of them are just, yeah, I got the license to please him, whatever, mission accomplished. Sorry
Yeah,
about it, you
yeah.
guys. Yeah.
So, I guess like piggybacking on that, like, what do you think we need to do as a community to help get more YLs involved?
Kat, I'll let Kat answer that one because she has some personal
Well, yeah,
experience.
actually, no, she'd be perfect for that question because she's fairly ish new. So,
Ria, I don't think this is the time to rant on that one. I'll have
Yeah.
to change it then.
oh, go ahead and rant. I mean, we got like almost
Well,
30
okay.
minutes. So,
Let me tell you. I'm sorry my camera's misbehaving now
it's
because
fine.
I try to
It's an
plug in the
audio
charger.
podcast. It's an audio podcast. We just
Good,
happen to
because
do it live.
I'll just change the battery and I'll be happy. But the main thing I think it needs there needs it needs to be more welcoming, and it's like I've had this conversation at the ARRL so many times. It's like, yeah, when you show like, only guys in there, broing down and hamming it up,
Okay, it's the bros before hoes scenario. Let's get that straight. Okay, bros before hoes. I mean, come
Oh
on.
God.
Look, Ria's like, oh my God, not this.
Well, okay.
About
So I
this.
danced her on it. She was blunt. So anyway,
I'm
she's
very
Yeah.
look. I am very blunt and to the point. I don't
she's
mix
blunt.
words. I'm back in the dating world. These dudes are a bunch of, I swear, I don't know. Somebody took their man card away from them or something. Matter of fact, one just ran it on me today, and I was like, dude, I ain't your problem. Your problem might be you, and you ranting on these girls. But anyway, it's a pros before hoes situation because let's be honest, guys don't make it easy for women in this day and age at all to sit here and be in a club. Okay, so I work in an industry where I do taxes, and if you look at people in the office, it's mostly female. Okay, we do have men who do taxes. Don't get me wrong. Okay, but you see more women doing it majority in the tax offices and stuff because you're looking at stay-at-home moms. You're looking at um, women who have retired and want to do something besides sitting around and watching their husbands go outside and twiddle and make things. Okay, they don't want to be sitting there watching soap operas all day. They want to do something, so this gives them the opportunity to do that. But when you're into a different industry, like, and I've been in bros before hose industries, we're talking about car dealerships, insurance companies, all these kinds of things where
Tech.
it's a men may,
STEM in general.
I mean, it's just men all over. And when women come up in there and they perform higher, better than the men get all up in their little egos and they're like, all this kind of stuff. So, again, bros before hoes. You would rather go over here and support your bro before you go over here and help some girl out. Trust you and me. We all know that happens. So that's all I'm saying. I think and that's a lot of women feel that way because there's not, for us to be welcoming in YLs, okay? Point blank. It needs to be more welcoming. But these guys are like, well, this is a male hobby, and guys do this and guys do that. But then you got the males who want to go, well, we want these YLs to come in. But then when these YLs are outperforming them, they get this whole ego chip on their shoulder. And then you're back to square one. That's all I'm saying. That's it. So, I mean, that's how I felt about it. And that's how I continue to feel about it. Even in the whole YouTubers thing, I'm having to fight for every inch that I get on YouTube. I mean, love Ria. She's an excellent job. She's got over 10K. You got Reja, who's got over whatever, almost 10K.
8K.
Huh? 8K.
I think she's got like 8K now.
I don't know. Ria keeps better up with that than I do. I'm not in the whole specs.
Wild Racer. So.
Yeah, Ria Raja.
I don't know if I know who that is. I'll look that up.
She's Russian, so she's not well known in America as I guess me or other people.
She's known over there in Europe. Yeah. Oh.
The DX Commander is a big fan of hers. So.
Oh yeah, very much so.
Oh, I think I know what you're talking about now.
For instance, okay, when a woman gives a man an idea for a business, okay?
Oh, here we go.
And that man goes consults his bro, okay? Now the woman sat here and told the man exactly what his bro just got through telling him. But she told him prior to his bro telling him, okay? But because bro said, hey, why don't you go do this? And he's like, oh, yeah, I'm going to go do that now. But because woman is not the same thing as man, then he goes with a man's idea, and it was a woman's idea to begin with. So again, that's my whole thought process to this. We're not dumb. We're not stupid. We're highly intelligent if you give us a chance. At least most of us are. I know I am, and I know Ria is. But there's some of those out there that aren't very smart. Guys,
Ria's not smart at all. Not smart at all, Ria. No.
There's guys who are.
She's only like an engineer or something. So.
Yeah, she's very much an engineer. She's an engineer, and I am more numbers person.
Ria ham harder than any man I know. So
exactly.
There's that. She has a flex
radio. Yeah, the thing is ham. No, it's not. I tell people I don't ham harder. I ham smarter.
Yeah, because she's smart. Yeah.
So you ham smarter.
Guy says.
Yeah.
So.
Ria's a computer. That's what Ham Radio Adventure Guy says about Ria. You're a computer.
Road.
Oh yeah, computer. I mean, legit a computer. I can see.
He must be on his phone.
Yeah. I know.
But no, I kind of agree with you a little bit, Kat. I think that's mostly though like an older ham mentality.
Like
it's not older generation.
It's not.
I don't know. Like all the guys I know, like we just want to have fun, and if a girl wants to have fun with us, more power to it.
Right, but here's the thing: y'all are fine with them having fun. But I'm not talking about this in a general sense. It's not. It's the fact that there's some guys out there that could care less, and there's guys out there who could care more. What I'm referring to is the fact of it's not just old hams; it's all hams that are guys. You don't have to have an age to be that way. Sorry.
No, I know.
And
I think. Well, yeah, I think. Look, let me tell you. In general, in tech, I mean, you find this in tech that women are held to a higher standard. like, they have to perform twice as hard, right? And it's like, in order to be recognized. It happens a lot especially in like, in, and it's kind of, the attitudes are kind of changing now, right? And,
Yeah.
but it used to be that how, one had to prove herself 10 times more than the guys who are just coming on. Well, they do a mediocre halfway job, and then, it's like they get a pat on the back and they drink beers with the guys after. But in ham radio, it's kind of like there isn't really that much of a, and I don't want to criticize the organization. I think that a lot of the organizations that cater to women are not really that active.
No,
You
they're
have
not.
I wouldn't
YLRL
know.
is, well,
More.
YLRL is like the pillar, like the most well known one. They kind of, I don't see much activity from them other than occasional net, meetup, and such like that. I mean, I understand, it's like some people don't have the time and such like that. I am guilty of that myself, because sometimes, because I'm a District 2 chair, I kind of like don't get the motivation sometime to do stuff because I put out something and then maybe like two people respond, you know. Whereas I do something for ARRL and I get a flood of things. But I'm still trying. It's like even today in the school I was doing something for, you know, I helped the girls and the boys too, but I wanted to make sure the girls got a fair shot at getting on the radio and doing some of the radio activities and such too. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, I mean, I think the good thing about the day and age we live in is,
Yeah.
gender integration is becoming more and more of a thing. Like, for instance, with the scouting program, Boy Scouts, now they're
Mhm.
integrated with boys and girls. So, and I've seen that like across sports and everything too. So I'm hoping
That's
like that kind of carries over into, STEM
yeah.
activities and that kind of stuff. Because I want
So
to see more
BSA,
diversity in the hobby.
sure,
So,
BSA is kind of a controversial thing because I
well,
don't
I know.
I don't necessarily fully agree with that. Not because they include girls, because I think it'll actually ultimately harm the Girl Scouts. So,
Yep.
but
Yeah,
we
I
remain
mean,
to be seen.
I can see that, but at the same
Hmm.
side, like Girl Scouts, like because I'm actually an Eagle Scout myself, and
Right.
even afterwards, like I participated a lot, like on like a kind of more regional level with scouting. And the
Yeah.
Mhm.
thing I kind of found about Girl Scouts is like they like build strong young women, but they
Hmm.
don't necessarily build strong young women to like work with men. And
Right.
like the thing scouting does really well is makes it so that way it shows like young men and young women they can work together on common goals and find common ground to get stuff done.
And this is the same thing I encounter with some of the women's ham radio organizations versus the general ones. That's the exact
Yeah,
same thing.
yeah. Because it's like I'm all for like female empowerment and stuff, but I'm more about like integration because especially like when I was in the military, for instance, I was on a submarine and I was actually on an all male crew, and
Mm-hmm.
the opposite crew. It was interesting because they actually were one of the first submarines to receive females,
Yeah.
and there was a lot of interesting like lessons learned from that, especially because there's only like two of them. So yeah, there's a lot of like interesting lessons learned that I think I can kind of bring to the hobby from that experience. So,
Well, my brother's actually at Rotten Groton now, so
oof,
he he hears a lot of submarine stories. He
yeah,
works at the hospital though, so but he hears a lot of
okay, yeah, I know
submarine
what it's at.
stories. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah, Groton's an experience. I'll put it that way. Um, especially back in the day when it was all men. Like that was an experience. I mean, yeah,
Hmm.
I'm not going to go any more into that.
Yeah.
But yeah, so kind of lost my train of thought. So like going kind of also on the diversity thing, do you see more activity with people of color?
So you want to know something? I could talk for a whole hour on that, but let me tell you some very interesting things I've actually started learning recently. Okay. So first of all, I got criticized by this guy W4D, a bunch of others who basically criticized the ARRL, saying how we don't like black people, which is absolutely fake news. Okay, and
BS, Ria? Is it BS?
it's fake news.
It's like
Fake news.
man. Fake news.
It's fake news. You know, I met him when I used to work at Fox News. Okay, so yeah, you want to know something? Let me tell you, there's been a lot of black people in the hobby,
Oh
right?
yeah.
But for a lot of time they lay low because it's like they don't get recognized, and there's always this stigma from back in the day of segregation. What used to happen in segregation? There were hams who used to listen to people's intonations, and if they even sound a little bit ebonic, they would avoid talking to them. You know, that's how OMIC, which is the most well-known, predominantly black ham radio organization, basically got their start because they wanted an organization so that black people could talk to other black people. I'm a member, by the way, so I got their constitution. Some fell down. Okay, whatever.
Crash down, why don't you?
Yeah, I got their constitution book.
Okay.
Yeah, but anyway, yeah. So, but what I'm saying is though that I think you generally have to have people who are visible in the community, like I have a lot of I have quite a few black friends who are in the community visible. I have Latin friends who are in the community and visible too. And you know what I think is great. This is not about quotas or anything like that. I just think
I
that
know.
it's nice to have people, when you have people seeing other people like them, they're going to think, you know what, I could do that too.
Yep. Yeah, you kind of want the hobby to be representative of the population, and I think that's something that kind of lacks in this country, where like other countries, generally they're kind of like culturally knit, like they're kind of close together. But in this country, because we're so culturally diverse, you kind of wish you'd seen a little more of it within our borders.
Yeah. And but ham radio is a global hobby, and you have a lot of diversity globally. But in the United
that's
States,
what I was saying.
Yeah. In the United States, it's a little problematic. For historical reasons, like I mentioned, the segregation.
Yeah.
But a lot of people like hear the topics being discussed, and look, I'm all for free speech. Okay, so I'm not saying people shouldn't talk what they want to say, but sometimes people they hear things and they get discouraged. So I like to talk positivity. So
speaking on the discrimination, has there been historical cases of that against women in the hobby? Because I just honestly don't know. I figure maybe it's something you two might know.
Ria might know that. Hey, Ria, any gender discrimination about women?
No, kind of. I'll tell you the interesting thing is that ladies will always get a pile up, right?
Yep.
The funny thing is, if I go on the air and talk to my friends in the net, I deliberately keep the power low so that I don't get a big pile up from a whole bunch of people wanting to talk to me.
That's because you're famous.
It's not personal against them. It's just that sometimes I just want to chat with my little group, but that's okay. I still talk to people, but yeah, that's one thing. But it's like, you know what? I think if there are some people who thinks that it has to be like a quote unquote, man's world, and it needs to be, especially on really brain dead places like QRZ forums, right? They they come on and they say that how we want ham radio to be the last vestige of old boys club, And the guy said with a straight face, I'm like, are you
Isn't
kidding
that what
me?
a bar's for?
I don't know. Is it
Yeah, but
something else? But I'm gonna keep my mouth shut.
I think it's definitely gotten better though. It's getting better, and you definitely have to appreciate that it's getting better. And I think that you
Yeah.
have a lot of and the younger crowd is actually doing better. So
So, is there any sort of special events that happen this month with YL since it is International Women's Month and all that?
and this is the other thing. Like YLRL has their YLOM contest in February around Valentine's Day. You know, I
Yeah,
wish they'd
I
have
think
it
that's
in
bad timing.
March.
Yeah,
It kind of sets a stereotype too, But
I could see that.
there is the contest. They might have one though. I think there's the let's see, the DXNAYL is in October. Nah, they don't have any. I mean, I
Okay,
wish there was one in March. Maybe we should start
there
a,
should
a
be.
tradition.
Go ahead. Absolutely, man. That would be awesome. I would
Yeah.
probably, try to work the YL stations, give them some traffic on the air. I mean, they already have traffic, but even more.
Yeah, the interesting thing is that you can actually there is like the YLRL they have like the YLRL worked all states and YLRL DX awards,
Hmm.
So if you work 100 women in different countries,
Different
or you work
countries.
all in all 50 states, it's really difficult, right?
Oh yeah.
You know, but
I have a hard enough
it's a
time
nice
talking
thing.
to a man in Wyoming. I can only imagine a woman over there.
My Yeah, but I have a good friend who's a lady in Wyoming.
Yeah. Well, you have friends everywhere, Ria. We all know that.
No, but she's very famous. She's very famous.
Is
She
she?
used to be the membership manager at ARRL.
Oh, okay. That's cool.
Katie,
Yeah, I don't.
WY7YL. Yeah, yeah. Katie's awesome. Yeah, but sadly, there's nothing. I mean, I think some people just, you know, I don't know.
Some people are just getting by.
Yeah,
But
I think these days people are more worried about. I know Cat's worried about the price of gas too. A lot of people. I mean, as much as I like to say, well, I drive an electric vehicle, I'm not worrying about the price of gas, but the reality is I have to buy fuel to propane, and that's probably going to go up, and then food and stuff and everything's going up. So
yeah, yeah, it's troubling times. That's for sure. But
yeah,
hoping to a swift end to all the hostilities in the world.
yeah. Hammer, the adventure guy, has an interesting suggestion.
Yeah, he's gonna set a wild contest. See how many times they can work me in a POTA park this month.
Hmm.
Yeah, I mean, if there was a YL award for POTA, he would probably have it already. So
Probably
this
would.
guy has like every award in the book.
Yeah, that's true.
He might.
Oh, he basically does at
I
this
don't know if
point.
it would be a legal contest, but he can have whatever contest he wants to have.
Yeah. Are you guys
I
gonna
think
go
there
to
should.
Dayton?
Kat, are you going to Dayton?
I'm hoping to go to Dayton. We're gonna have to
Cool.
see. Yeah, the lovely IRS is holding on to my money hard this year. So, yeah.
Yeah, they're doing the same to me.
I may have official duties at Dayton with the ARL, so
Cool.
I will most
I
likely
drive.
be
I'm
there.
ready to We're bootlegging
Yeah.
it.
I
You're
have.
driving up there?
Yeah, if I drive, I'll be bootlegging.
Yeah.
I can kind of see it.
It's just my business card at ARRL. I sometimes drop
Oh.
these in QSL cards.
Okay.
Oh, you have your business cards, your number on there too, Ria, so you can have these people calling you and listening.
My number is published in every single issue of QST.
I'll call her at like 3 o'clock in the morning. Hey, Ria, I'm drunk.
Hey,
No,
Rita.
there are people who do that on Facebook, and
Oh,
you know,
jeez.
I know I kind of just block them when they do that. I tell people you get one strike when that happens. You don't ever wake me up, okay?
Well,
Yeah.
Ria, I'm gonna start waking you up then. I'm like, hey Ria, hey Ria, hey Ria, hey Ria,
Block.
hey Ria. I'll just call you from
Bam.
unknown number. I'll keep Google in business.
Really?
Yeah.
You'll probably
Do
see
you guys
this.
have any you have any cool projects coming up? Either one of you? Any cool
Cat,
videos
what do
or
you
just
got?
anything?
I don't
I
have
know
anything.
Cat's busy.
I just gotta get through tax season, man. I'm tired of sleeping and dreaming about taxes and waking up and doing tax. I'm just exhausted from doing taxes. You know how much?
So once tax season over, is it ham radio season?
No, it's me. It's me finding me. It's gonna be me finding me. I don't know what kind of season it's gonna be. Hot girl summer. Is it hot girl summer? Is that what it's called? Yeah, hot girl summer starts. That's what it's gonna be. Hot girl summer starts.
Yeah. What projects do I have? I have a few. Um, I have a solar power project I'm working on. I want to try to refurbish the antennas, some of it. I have antennas in the garage, just needs to get out and assemble. I'm going to put that up temporarily. Um, as far as other stuff, you know, I guess just, I want to, I really want to get my station back to some semblance of being able to, work effect. Because right now my main antennas are down and it's been kind of troublesome the last couple of years. It's just, one thing after the other. But, yeah, that's what I'm doing. I'm working on a top secret project right now, which I'll announce soon. But basically, it has to do with education in terms
Cool.
of getting more hams licensed and such like that. So
I know what it is. I know what it is. I'm not saying.
yeah,
I know.
It's okay. It's okay. Yeah. Don't release your secret here. So
I'm
all right,
not
well
releasing her
it's
secret. I am not releasing her secret. However, I need to find me. I'm gonna have to end up doing my gutters on my house, and I got to figure out how to get that done. Hey, because I'm short.
right.
I just
That's
gotta
what
go
I'm.
climb up in the ladder.
I gotta go find the ladder first.
Oh
I
jeez.
don't know if I got.
All
I
right,
don't know.
well your all stream starts in 2 minutes, doesn't it?
Yes, it do.
All right, so I'll go ahead and start cutting off the podcast here, so you can get to your stream, so you're not late. Because I'm sure Ed and oh, you just have an Ed on? Who else are you having on?
Ed, and other M17 people. Yeah,
Yeah.
speaking of
Oh, okay.
podcasts too, you might see one of those from me sometime, but it really depends on, what I could pull together.
Okay, awesome. We'll definitely all keep a lookout for that. So, all right. Well, thank you both for coming on. I don't want to hold you up any longer, so you can head on over to your stream. And I wish everybody a 7-3s. Ed and Mike, that's
73,
right.
everybody.
Peace and 73s.
Peace and 73.
73s.